on this team event. I mean, as I said, I will start by briefly presenting what the Economics School Louvain has to offer, and then um, I will give you the floor to so that you have the opportunity to ask all the questions you might have about our different programs. So um, we like to say that we are one of the best School of Economics at master level in Europe and to some extent also in the world. I mean, um, let me elaborate a little bit on that, but otherwise, it's just a slogan. I mean, first, why on earth would you want to study economics and do a master in economics? Well, there are several ways of answering that question, but I mean, one of them is to repeat what Larry Summers has said at some stage in his brilliant career. I mean, economics is about thinking and trying to bring some solution to some of the most important problems in the world, like poverty and unemployment, the energy, the energetic transition, and the energy transition. Um, and we could add, I mean, the economists like to do more than just talk or shout about these problems. I mean, economists want to properly understand the nature of these problems and what can be done about them. But I mean, what do we have to offer in the field of economics at the ESL, the Economics School of Louvain? I mean, in a few words, I think if you are interested in getting an education that combines rigorousness and openness, I think we are definitely one of the places in the world where you could get that. If on top of that you want to evolve in and you want to study in an environment that is genuinely international, exposed to different culture, different people with different backgrounds, both on the teaching side and on the student side, I think we are also an interesting place. Um, if you are interested in the applications, what can be done with economics, I mean, we also have a lot of things to offer. I mean, one of them is an internship as part of the 2-year program that we offer. I mean, at least one of the 2-year masters we offer contains a placement in a firm or in an organization as part of what we call the internship. If you are much more interested by research and the work in academia, we also have a lot of things to offer. And generally speaking, I mean, if you envisage working in both the private or the public sector, and even in the non-profit, what we call the non-profit sector, ESL is definitely a place where you you should go. You should the place that you should join. Um, to give you an idea of the different topics you could be exposed to if you were to join the ESL, I mean, they are quite diverse. I mean, economics is quite broad in the terms of the different specialties that people get exposed to. You can study labor, you can study econometrics, which is statistics applied to econometric dimensions. You can study behavioral economics, you can study macroeconomics and the functioning of the financial markets, you can study the way firms operate and interact. That's what we call industrial organization. You can focus on anything that is to do with international trade. You can study migration. So these are all domains where we have classes. We teach each of these topics, and we have people who are specialized in teaching these topics. If I had to list the key features of the Economics School of Louvain here in Belgium, I mean, I would say that we certainly represent a tradition of excellence in economics, and it's recognized internationally. We have 52 full-time professors teaching, well, all the different topics that I've showed you on the previous slide. These professors are affiliated to 4 well-known and renowned research centers. And among the, we have 250 students, which is both a lot and not that much at the same time. I mean, it's a lot in the field of economics. At the same time, it's relatively small compared to the number of students that you have in some business schools. And that's perhaps a good thing because you get taught in relatively small groups and you have the opportunity to interact a lot with the lecturers, with the instructors, but also with the other students. And we have more than, I mean, I should have put plus 50%. We have more than 50% of our students who are from abroad. They're not from Belgium. So that makes the school relatively international if you compare to other schools in Europe or in the world. I mean, we have many programs, but I mean they can be regrouped into 2 tracks. One is what we call the professional track, and as the name suggests, it prepares you to enter the professional world after you've completed your master. The other one is what we call the research track, and there basically you can do 2 things after. You can enter a professional career. So you may join an international organization. We are not far from the European Union. Some of our students go and work at top level in these international organizations, but you can also join a PhD program. And that PhD program will basically prepare you to become a professor, but also to work in highly ranked jobs outside academia. I mean, outside the universities. We offer this research master or several research masters. You will understand why I use the plural there. And then we have 1 professional master. We also organize both the research track and the professional track as joint degrees, meaning that you have the possibility to do 1 half of your program with us and the other half with another highly regarded university in the world. We have 7 joint degrees. We have an Erasmus Mundus master that focuses on quantitative economics. And of course, I mean, if you've completed a research master with us or with another similar economics department in the world, I mean, you may envisage joining our doctoral school. Okay. This is all what we offer. If I go into slightly more details, I mean, we have this research focus. In fact, we have 3 different programs that constitute this research track. One of them is what we call the quantitative economics master. You've seen it on the previous slide. It's a very prestigious international research master with up to 5 different partners, including the Economics School of Louvain. In these research masters, you are exposed to advanced courses. They are relatively formalized, meaning that you need to have a good level in maths and in statistics to be able to profit from these masters. You get exposed to quantitative modeling, and you are required to write an essay paper. And of course, if you're successful, if you enjoy that sort of program, you may consider joining the PhD program after. Now, we have another track, I mean, that we call the professional track, and there you get also exposed to relatively formalized teaching. Economics is it's about being at ease with data, and to some extent with the use of maths. Here, I mean, the level of requirement in mathematics is a little bit lower, and the focus is more on what you can do with your skills. I mean, with the sort of theoretical training or methodological training that you acquired. I mean, and you can specialize in different areas. I mean, you can specialize in finance, you can specialize in economics of development, you can focus on the functioning of enterprise and the interaction between enterprise. It's what we call industrial organization. You can focus on trade and international issues. whatever the track, I mean, in fact, you can expect to be taught in small class. And there is also an ingredient that we like that we have at University of Louvain is that we like our students to be exposed to what we call critical courses. These are courses where you take some distance and you develop some critical thinking about the way modern economies operate, markets, but also more centrally planned organizations. The aim in these classes is just to develop a slightly more philosophical view of what's going on in modern economies and modern economic organizations. Of course, you have the possibility to attend seminars. Seminars are much more proactive. Classes are focusing more on methodology and theory. I mean, but seminars are really the places where you get the opportunity to take a question and test whether you can develop some response to these questions, address these problems using all the skills and all the tools that you have at your disposal. I mean, but you have the lead generally in these seminars. I mean, you can the other thing you can expect in this more professional oriented program is a direct implication in a firm's life, because you have the possibility to do an internship of up to 6 months as part of the 2-year program. You can also take part in international exchange, sort of what we call Erasmus programs, where you can spend 6 months. During your 2-year program, you can spend 6 months with a partner university, and we have about 40 different partners around the world. I mean, over all the continents. I mean, that's another illustration of the fact that we are quite international oriented. I mean, even within the more professional master that we offer, we like our students to have the opportunity to spend some time, 6 months in this case, abroad. Okay. Then we have these double degrees. These are programs, as I said, I mean, where you spend, they can be research oriented or professional oriented. I mean, you spend 1 year in Belgium at ESL on our main campus, and then you spend the other year with the partner university. And then you see here all the partners that we have. We have 7 of them. We have Maastricht University, we have UNIMI at Milan, we have University of Sao Paulo, which is one of the best universities in Brazil. We have UCP, which is one of the best universities in Portugal. We have the well-known Bocconi University, which is a very strong program in economics, aside its numerous programs in business. We have a double degree agreement with the University of Warsaw, and then one with the University of EAFIT in Colombia, Medellin. So this is a way you can get exposed to a fully fledged international experience, because you have 1 year with us and 1 full year with a partner. I mean, and you get access to the best we have to offer during the first year, and you get the best of what the partner university has to offer during 1 year. Let me now move about a slightly more practical question. I mean, that's you might be interested in. What are the admission requirements? I mean, we want you to have an undergrad degree, preferably in business and economics. And what we want is that, undergrad means 3 years. I mean, 180 ECTS credits. If you're familiar with the ECTS, I mean, the equivalent of 3 years of undergrad studies. I mean, it can be anywhere in the world. I mean, but we want you to have been exposed to, if you haven't done a fully fledged program in business and economics, I mean, we want to verify that you have been exposed to microeconomics, macroeconomics, statistics, mathematics, and the use of statistics in economics, which is what we call econometrics. And then we expect you to have had some exposure to one of the topics that you see below there: industrial organization, European economic scheme theory. I mean, the exact title of the course may vary, but I mean, we want you to have some background in economics, in stat, and in maths to be admitted to our program. I mean, the program can be followed completely in English. That's why we want you to, well, of course, it can be followed in French. I mean, at least the professional march can be followed in French. But I suppose that given your profile and where you are, I mean, maybe the question for you is, yes, which level of English do you need to join the program? Because it's extremely likely that most of the class you will take, or you would take, would be taught in English. Well, we want the equivalent of a B2 level. I mean, there are different tests that are available. I mean, we don't. We are quite flexible. I mean, and if we have doubts, we just have an interview with you to coach your level of English. But I mean, we need the proof that you can attend a program taught in English and express yourself in good English. I mean, that's what we need. Okay. Well, I mean, even still about practical issues. I mean, what are the deadlines for applying? I mean, if you are a non-EU citizen, if you live abroad, if you don't reside in Belgium or in the European Union, you need to apply before April 30th, before the end of April. Okay. If you have a EU passport, I mean, you can apply until much later because you have until the end of summer, until the end of August to apply. Okay. Of course, I mean, these are deadlines, so ideally you should have had a look at how to apply. What are the conditions? Which kind of documents do you need to upload for your applications to be okay? So I would recommend that you consider applying before these deadlines, a few days before these deadlines. Okay. In terms of tuition fees, I mean, I don't know what are your expectations, but I mean, my way of describing the situation is that even if you're a non-EU resident, the price of a master program per year is relatively limited. I mean, it's 4,175 euros compared to what you pay in the US, in Australia, in Canada, in the UK, or even for some programs in France or elsewhere in Europe. I think this is relatively cheap. This tuition fee can even be lower if you come from a list of very poor countries, countries that are recognized as being very poor. And if you're interested, I may provide you the list. I mean, that tuition fee can even be lowered. Okay, if you are a EU resident, if you have a I mean, well, it's there. I mean, the LDC means less developed countries. For those countries, the one that I was just mentioning, the tuition fee is 835 euros per year. I mean, and that's also the tuition fee that EU residents are expected to pay. Okay. If you have if you want any additional information about how to apply and so on, the deadlines, feel free to email Valérie Anne Verdun. She's the person within the administrative staff that is in charge of anything that is to do with international students. So she's a very competent person, and she will for sure answer any of the question you may have about who we are and how to apply to our programs. You can even consider calling her, and you have her phone number down there. Well, here you have a couple of photos of the campus. I mean, in fact, I should say it's not really a campus. It's a city campus. It was built quite recently. It's located in a relatively green area. At the same time, it's very close to Brussels. It's well connected to Brussels. And this is one of the things I like about Louvain-la-Neuve is that you get a best of both worlds. I mean, you have a fully fledged campus with all the things that students can expect: libraries, sports facilities. The center of the city is pedestrian. You have plenty of places where students meet, enjoy, have fun together. And at the same time, it's a real city with shops, with movie theaters, with trains, with buses, with restaurants. You have more than 50 restaurants now, and cafes and all that. I mean, you have banks if you need financial service. You have health centers, so you have all the things that you would expect in a city, because it's more than a campus. You have about 50% of the people who live in Louvain-la-Neuve who are non-students. They have children, they work, they are retired people. So it it's one of the good things. I mean, it's the place where we are, and the environment in which you study. I mean, you're close to Brussels. You see what students do between two classes. They can rest in parks. They can go around. And one thing that could have shown is students drinking one of the Belgian beers, and Belgium is known for the diversity and the quality of its beers. That's something that students do a lot on the campus. Um back to more practical issues, although having fun is also important in life. I mean, and the quality of environment is something important. I mean, how much money do you need to live in Louvain-la-Neuve? I mean, imagine you join ESL, you expect to spend 2 years with us. Well, it can be 1 year or 2 years, depending on the program you attend. But I mean, per month. So I mean, you know about the tuition fee, but per month you will probably need something like 800 to 900 euros to cover your living expenses. The most important expense is housing. Housing. You should expect to spend at least 280 euros per month for accommodation. Uh, but well, 280 is just for a room. If you want a little bit more than a room, you rapidly end up paying 300, 400 euros. Then, of course, you need to buy your food. You need to move around. Healthcare is not really expensive because you get covered like any Belgian resident, and healthcare is it's very well covered by the insurance, and everybody and students get the health insurance, the traditional health insurance that Belgian residents have. I mean, but so healthcare is not really a source of concern. I mean, in Belgium, and you have plenty of choice, and the quality of healthcare is excellent. You need to think about leisure, how much you spend to to have a bit of fun, go for a drink or go for a movie. Um, 600 euros for books is really a maximum. Okay. So in short, I mean, the sum of money you need per month is about 800 to 900 euros. That's what you can expect to pay. Of course, you can stay in Brussels and commute. Some students do that, but it doesn't change much to the cost of living because the price of accommodation in Brussels is more or less similar to what you have to pay in Louvain-la-Neuve. Okay. In terms of visa, there is no visa requirement for EU citizens. And for non-EU citizens, I mean, the way it works typically is that you apply, you get a sort of provisional enrollment, and as soon as we got your file and that all the documents we need from an academic point of view, we send you an authorization letter. So we equip you with a letter that you can oppose to the Belgian authorities, the Belgian embassy or consulate in the country you are from. And based on that letter, they know that you have a slot available in a Belgian university. There is a Belgian university that has agreed that you have the academic credentials and you're capable of attending a program in Belgium. And then the Belgian, usually the Belgian consulate, based on that, will give you a student visa covering the period of the study. Maybe 1 year, and then it's renewable, conditional on you going for the second year of the program. If you want to attend class in French, we provide class so that you can improve your command of French. That is available for free on the campus. Okay. UC Louvain, the university to which we belong, I mean, is quite well ranked internationally. It's in the top 150, and that ranking is relatively stable over the years. I mean, if you consider the Economics School of Louvain as such, well, I mean, we tend to be slightly above the average department or the average school of the university. I mean, the economists rank relatively well within the university. So it means that internationally, if you compare our Department of Economics with other department of economics in the world, we are ranked 17th, and that's also a ranking that is more or less stable. Okay. Most of our students have very good employment prospects. I mean, we pride ourselves with the placement rate, with the fact that students take at most, well, average students would spend 1.5 months after graduation looking for a job, and more than 50% of our students get some job offer before they complete their degree. I mean, if you want more information about the university, I mean, I will let you get a copy of this presentation, but you can click on these links and you can watch a little video that is there that will give you an idea of what the campus looks like, what the facilities are. If you want more detailed information about visa, about tuition fees and all that, I mean, I invite you to have a look at our international welcome guide. That's a PDF document written in English where you really have a lot of information about any question that an international student or prospective student might have. I'm done with my presentation. I suggest that we move to the second part of the discussion,